Chris Philp has been on Laura Kuennsberg's show this morning, and there's not much I have to say to summarise his efforts. A lot of smiling and posturing and propaganda, slogans slashing, but he's really there, I suspect, to prove that to save face after his absurd performance on Question Time the other night, when he was asked by a member in the audience about a hypothetical question. What if somebody from the Congo were to make their way to the UK by small boat? Would they be sent on a plane back to Rwanda, given the fact that that there is a war effectively between the two countries? And Philp seemed uncertain that these two places were indeed two different countries and needed reassurance, and exposed his stupidity. Well, today he was trying to defend the NHS and to explain the Conservative position in the face of Dan Poulter's defection to Labour. He said, well, you look at what Labour has done in Wales. Look at the record of the waiting lists in Wales, and the record of the Welsh control of the NHS is terrible. People are fleeing to England to get treated. And Laura Kuennsberg quite rightly points out that Dan Poulter has left the Conservatives over the NHS as a result of what he has seen on wards. He clearly has no faith in his party, his former party. But equally, there are 70 Conservative MPs who are saying they're standing down at the next election. They don't have any faith that they can get elected. And polls are consistently showing, she says, that voters are walking away from the Conservative Party. Chris Philp says, well, he knows that people are feeling grumpy with the government, but that's not about the election which he expects in the autumn. He then trots off these slogans: inflation falling to 3%, wages rising. I don't see them. I don't see much benefit in inflation falling to 3%. It hasn't hit me. NHS waiting lists coming down. Where? Last year, he says, small boats. The figures of small boats were coming down. Well, this year they're going up. 2.5% commitment to defence, he says. Well, again, that's just rhetoric. It's just a commitment. Have we actually seen that commitment in action? Have we seen the money changing hands? No. It's like the same commitment made to Andrew Malkinson to pay him compensation. It's like the commitment made to the Windrush people. It's like the commitment made to the post office, postmasters and postmistresses. It's just words until it gets into somebody's pocket. It's meaningless propaganda. It's just razzle-dazzle, glitter, and it means nothing until there's actual action. And wheeling a minister, even a second-rate minister like Chris Phelps, onto a television programme to defend the indefensible is a mark of weakness. The only people worth seeing on television are people like the Prime Minister or the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and they seem to be particularly absent not only on television but also on Wednesdays in Prime Minister's Questions Time. Are these people not prepared to stick their neck up above the parapet and be counted and be held to account for their disgraceful performance? It's Jeremy Hunt, the man who has made spoonerism popular again, who has misquoted the adage, defend, delay, deny. And he promised in 2015 that this adage is something that would be eradicated from the NHS. But not only has it not been eradicated from the NHS, it's been embraced by the government of today. Defend, delay, deny. And this is a pithy adage coined in America by a man called J.M. Feynman in 2010, and in fact Jeremy Hunt, when he quoted it in 2015, got the words back to front. The actual title of the book, which was published, was "Delay, Deny, Defend." And it's symptomatic, I think, of the present Conservative government, that it can't even get the quotation right, it can't even get the slogan right, a simple tricolon with a very specific order. Changing the order doesn't change the absurdity of the meaning. It's about avoiding responsibility and trying to maintain some sort of purpose. But Hunt said that this was something that he didn't want to see continue in the NHS. It was something he didn't want to see continue in government. But in fact, it's an attitude and a way of life that has been warmly welcomed by the Conservative Party and by the present government. And this is despite the whistleblowers, despite the people going to court and proving the system to be faulty and reckless. And what do they get in reply? They get promises and inquiries, spelt with an I or with an E, who knows. And it means nothing. It's just words, 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 as Hamlet would say. It means nothing. Delay, deny, and defend the impossible.